I collapsed at work and was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Following an examination, they found something, and I was scheduled for emergency surgery right away. Filled with anxiety, I contacted my husband. I'm about to go into surgery. I'll need to stay in the hospital for about a week to monitor my recovery. I thought he would rush to the hospital, but my husband responded with a hint of happiness. A week, huh? Well, I'm sure you'll be safe at the hospital. It's a good opportunity for you to rest. Hearing him say that, my woman's intuition kicked in, and I checked my husband's credit card statements right away. Sure enough, taking advantage of my long-term hospitalization, he had gone on an overseas trip with his mistress. I couldn't forgive him. Just wait and see. I'll get back at him. After the operation, I made a remarkable recovery and started planning for revenge towards my husband. I'm looking forward to seeing my husband's face when he gets back from his trip. My name is Ashley. I've been married to Scott for 10 years now. Although I feel like I'm becoming as insignificant as heir to Scott, that's probably normal for a couple who's been married for 10 years. Since we don't have children, we can both continue working at the same pace as when we were single, and we have no financial issues at the moment. I had believed we could continue to lead a nice, calm life and get old together. But since a few years ago, Scott's behavior has become suspicious. Although he used to not care much about his clothes and hairstyle, he suddenly became very concerned about how he looked. "Hey, when did you get those nice clothes?" When I asked, Scott answered with a hint of irritation. "Does it matter? I also have to meet with colleagues outside of work sometimes." What's more, he started buying clothes that younger people wear and even started going to trendy hair salons. I'm going to get a haircut for a bit. Every month when he went out, I unintentionally called out to him. "Hey, where have you been getting your haircut recently? Didn't you always go to that $10 salon near the station?" My husband responded with irritation. "It's up to me how I spend my own money. You go to the hair salon too, don't you?" "I'm not complaining. I was just noticing that you've been dressing up more lately." "Huh, maybe you're being too unconcerned about how you look." He was always working late or out on business trips, so I didn't particularly care about when he came home. However, I noticed that whenever he came home late, he always smelled like perfume. "Hey, this suit, it has a smell. It's like woman's perfume." When I asked him, Scott looked awkward. "Oh yeah, now that you mention it, there was a woman on the crowded bus back home who had a strong perfume. It might have gotten onto me." His excuse seemed extremely suspicious. His behavior pointed to only one thing. Clearly, these were signs of an affair. Looking at our bank account, I saw our savings had been decreasing rapidly for the past few years. He must be spending it on his mistress. Who could it be? How should I find out the truth? And what should I do if he really was having an affair? Thinking about these things on my own, I gradually lost my appetite and began to feel depressed. One day, I collapsed at work. "Ashley, are you okay? I'm calling an ambulance right now." As my consciousness was fading, I could hear my colleague's voice in the distance. When I woke up, I was on a hospital bed. I must have been stressed because of Scott. The doctor who examined me suggested that I should be admitted for tests just in case. I thought I could go home right away, so I hadn't prepared anything and immediately called Scott. "Hello, Scott. I collapsed at work today and was taken to the hospital by ambulance." "An ambulance? What the hell happened? Are you at the hospital now?" "Yes, I have to be admitted for tests today." "It's nothing serious, right?" "Probably just stress, I think." I couldn't quite say that it was because of Scott's affair, so I tried to cover it up. Then Scott, seeming relieved, said this. "Well, you really scared me. So you're not coming home today?" "Yeah, the test results won't be out until tomorrow." "I see. I understand. The hospital will prepare everything for you, right? I don't need to do anything else, do I?" "Huh, well, I guess it's fine, but you will be there with me to hear the results of the examination tomorrow, won't you? Huh. Do I really need to be there? I won't understand anything anyway. I don't know anything about medicine or illnesses. You can't be serious. I don't want to hear the results just by myself. When I cried out, Scott reluctantly agreed to come to the hospital. The next day, hearing the test results with my husband, I couldn't believe my own ears. The doctor told me, "We're going to conduct surgery right away because you're showing signs of a stroke." Looking at Scott next to me, he looked just as surprised. Scott took a moment to digest the news and then asked the doctor, "So does that mean she can't go home today?" "Of course, she will have to be admitted immediately today, and we will perform the surgery tomorrow or the day after." "And how long until she can be discharged from the hospital?" "Well, depending on her recovery after surgery, it should be about a week." "A week? I see. Understood." Leaving the doctor's office with a heavy heart, Scott said, "I'm going to make a call," and moved a bit away down the hall. I could hear him talking to someone. "So, I won't be around for a week. What an opportunity, might as well." After he finished his call and came back, Scott quickly started preparing to leave. I stopped him right away. "Oh wait a minute. Are you leaving already? I wanted to talk more." "Talk about what?" "We've heard everything from the doctor, haven't we? There's nothing else to do but leave it to the hospital. This place seems like a proper hospital. There's nothing to worry about. You should rest well. Good luck with your surgery." Leaving these cheerful words, Scott quickly left. Despite trying to inform him about the time of the surgery over the phone, he never picked up the call. From then on, Scott never showed up at the hospital, and I was left alone facing the surgery with great anxiety. The surgery was successful. The days passed without any texts or calls from Scott, and he didn't come to the hospital. When I called our home phone, it would always take me to the answering machine, and his cell phone was unreachable. I remembered the phone call he had made. With a bad feeling, I checked Scott's card statement online. What was recorded in the statement was the purchase of 2 plane tickets. It was to Hawaii. While I was in the hospital feeling anxious, Scott was off enjoying a vacation with his mistress. And that wasn't all. Expensive designer items costing hundreds of thousands of dollars and bills from luxurious restaurants. He was extravagantly wasting a tremendous amount of money that I'd never seen before. Furthermore, I was able to determine from the card statement where Scott and his mistress had stayed. From there, I was able to find her social media account. On his mistress's social media, perhaps thinking they would never get caught, there were countless pictures posted of her dates with Scott. With all the evidence right in front of me, anger towards Scott began to boil within me. I couldn't forgive him. I would punish him for sure. After the surgery, lying in the hospital bed, I spent all my time thinking about how to punish Scott. Eventually, I came up with a plan. From then on, to my own surprise, I felt a surge of strength form within me. Before the surgery, I was overwhelmed with anxiety, but now my anger towards Scott had become a source of power. All I could think about was getting better as soon as possible to carry out my revenge. Even the doctor who came to check my post-surgery progress was surprised. "That's amazing. It's rare for someone to recover this quickly. Did something happen?" I answered with a grin. "I have something important to do, so I wanted to be discharged as soon as possible." And so, I, who had recovered at a miraculous speed, was discharged earlier than the schedule. Without informing my husband that my discharge date was brought forward, I returned home alone. If he's only going to get my voicemail anyway, there's no need to say anything to him. Besides, I have a lot to do from now on. There's no time to rest. I started meticulously preparing for my revenge. Scott contacted my cell phone on the originally planned discharge date. "Ashley, I went to the hospital, but they said you'd already been discharged." "Yes, my post-surgery progress was good, so I was discharged early. You should have let me know. It seems like your phone has been off for a while." Oh yeah, it just ran out of battery. My bad. I'll head home now. An hour later, Scott called me again. Hey Ashley, what the hell is this? Oh, what do you mean? Don't play dumb. Our house is gone. Oh, you noticed. I figured we didn't need it anymore, so I've demolished it and put the land up for sale. It's a prime location. I expect it'll sell quickly. What the hell are you talking about? We didn't need it. This house is both our property. You think you can just get rid of it? Oh, I didn't expect to hear both our property from your mouth. What do you mean? Our joint bank account. It's also both our property, right? I've known for a while that you've been using it freely. That's because I have social obligations for work. Social obligations, huh? Going on a vacation with your mistress, that's work too. Oh, how did you know? Your carelessness is astounding. I can check the credit card statements too, the overseas trip, the accommodations, the restaurants, and the branded items for women. I know you spent it all on her. After I said that, Scott got quiet and I continued, You're the one who first misused our joint account, right? I'm taking the money I made from selling the house. That should cover what you gave your mistress, plus my alimony. Holiday, what about our living situation now that you've sold our house? Do you think we're going to live together after this? Of course I'm going to divorce a husband like you, who prioritizes a trip with his mistress over his own wife, who got hospitalized. Divorce. Wait, it was just a fling. I never wanted to divorce you. You spent over $1 million on a fling, then I really don't want to live with such a stupid man like you. And you prioritize a vacation with your mistress over your wife's emergency surgery, so that means I'm less than a fling to you. How could we possibly live together after I've been so disrespected like that? It's not like that. You're my precious wife. You think I believe you now. No matter what you say, I don't want to see your face anymore. I'll live freely in my new home. You can go to your mistress or do whatever you like. Are you serious? You'll regret this. The one who will regret is me for spending these 10 years of married life with you. Have you forgotten these 10 years that I've provided for you? Provided for me? Don't be ridiculous. The savings you had used so carelessly included money I earned from my work too. How dare you act all high and mighty after using it as if it's just yours? Don't you have any sympathy? Is this how you treat your husband, who has been with you for so many years? I could say the same thing to you. I know I'll return those exact words to you, who has been betraying your own wife for years. Out of kindness, I left your belongings at the disposal area, but if you take your time, the collectors might collect them already. No, no way. Damn it, screw this. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Saying that, Scott hung up the phone. He must be rushing to that disposal area. While taking out the trash, I placed the divorce papers on top. By now, Scott must have noticed the divorce papers. After saying at least this much, he should agree to the divorce. Hoping I would never hear from him again, I was about to start my new life. However, within a month, I received another call from Scott. What do you want? I have nothing more to talk about with you. Just as I was about to hang up the phone, I heard Scott's screaming voice from the other end. Wait, don't hang up. I haven't submitted the divorce papers yet. I am still your husband. Listen to your husband. He hasn't submitted the divorce papers. Unable to ignore his words, I was forced to listen to Scott. What do you mean you haven't submitted them? Oh well, I decided to live with her, but I've decided to wait and see before divorcing and getting married again. And that was the right decision. Why? That woman spends money like crazy, and she says things like, if we get married, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. Even if I have savings, it wouldn't be enough if I married her. I knew that before you two started living together. It's more surprising that you didn't notice her spending habits after showering her with so much money. Then Scott said this, sounding impressed. I see, Ashley, you're really independent, huh? I am convinced by your words just now. You're the only one who can be my wife, huh? Ashley, let's start over. You've just been sick, and it must be scary to be alone, right? Is this guy an idiot? Such a man wouldn't understand unless spoken to harshly. I took a deep breath and raised my voice. How dare you even say that? The time when I was the most scared was when I was alone in the hospital on the day of surgery, when I was trembling with fear of the surgery, and when I was enduring the pain post-op. You weren't even there by my side. I'm truly sorry about that time. I wasn't thinking straight. It's not just about that time, is it? After all, you've been cheating on me. So how dare you say such a thing? A lot has happened, but I need you, Ashley. Don't you feel the same? That's why you spent these past 10 years with me. Don't be ridiculous. This time, I've confirmed that it's no good being with you. I can't imagine spending the rest of my life with someone who can't build a trusting relationship. So you're saying you don't want to give us another chance? Yes, not at all. I have no feelings for you anymore. My love for you disappeared long ago. I thought we could live the rest of our lives always being grateful to each other as a family because I still had affection for you. The one who trampled on those feelings was you, Scott. To Scott, who got very quiet, I left with these final words. However, there is one thing I thank you for. After knowing about your affair, I was filled with determination, thinking that I couldn't afford to be sick with all this anger I had towards you. And so, I decided to demolish and sell our house before you returned from your affair trip. What the hell? Thanks to that, I was able to recover so quickly that even my doctor was surprised. It seems like my anger towards you became a driving force to live. I'll thank you for just that. Please think carefully about this, Ashley. I already did. Well then, fall into hell with your lover. Goodbye. I hung up the phone without listening to Scott's reply, called my lawyer right away. I couldn't bear to delay the divorce any longer. I intended to fight it over court. I have saved all the evidence of Scott's affair and made it ready to submit to the lawyer. Divorce proceedings and claims for compensation are likely to go smoothly. If I leave everything to the lawyer, I won't need to contact Scott again. I changed my smartphone number to a new one so that I never receive any calls from him again. I doubt he will come to my workplace. Even if he does, I've already explained the situation to my colleagues because of Scott's bad reputation in the office. If anyone sees him, they will contact me immediately, and everyone will cooperate to make sure we don't bump into each other. After that, everything went according to my plan. Scott, having received a call from the lawyer, calmly agreed to the divorce and accepted my claim for alimony. As for his affair partner, she seemed to get the hint that she couldn't make any more excuses any longer and acknowledged that she had to pay the alimony. It appeared she was fully intent on marrying Scott once the divorce was final. Thinking Scott's savings were now hers as well, she would have him pay her share of the alimony from his account. At this rate, his savings would likely be gone in no time. Things seem likely to drag on with his affair partner, and Scott will for sure have a difficult time ahead in the future. That being said, I feel no sympathy whatsoever. He brought it upon himself by having an affair with a woman obsessed with money. On the other hand, with the money from selling the house and the alimony from the divorce, I was able to rent a place which was the exact same size as the room I lived in before. I can't get back the wasted 10 years I spent with Scott, but from now on, I can live without being controlled by him. If I were to remarry, I decided in my heart that this time I would marry someone with whom I can build a solid, trusting relationship. That's what I decided in my heart.